Imagine entering a temple where silence weighs heavy, the air thick with oil and incense. At the far end sits a figure so enormous, so radiant, that you feel your breath catch. His head nearly grazes the ceiling. His ivory flesh gleams pale in the dim light. His golden robe glitters as though lit from within. His gaze is calm yet commanding, reminding you of both power and mercy. This was the statue of Zeus at Olympia, one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world, a masterpiece that left visitors trembling in awe, and yet today, it has vanished completely. No piece of it survives. Only ruins, fragments, and stories remain. To understand why this statue was built, we must go back to Olympia, a sacred sanctuary in southern Greece. Olympia was not a city, but a spiritual gathering place, a sanctuary devoted to Zeus, the king of the gods. Every 4 years, people from across the Greek world flocked here for the Olympic Games. But Olympia was more than sport. It was a religious celebration of Zeus himself. The centerpiece of the sanctuary was the Temple of Zeus, completed around 457 BCE. Built in the heavy Doric style, its towering columns gave it strength and majesty. And yet, inside, it felt incomplete. What was a temple without a god to inhabit it? Enter Phidias, the most celebrated sculptor of the classical age. He had already proven his genius in Athens by creating the massive statue of Athena inside the Parthenon. Now, around 435 BCE, he turned his attention to Olympia. Phidias wasn't just an artist. He was a showman, an engineer, and a visionary. He set up a workshop beside the temple, and there he undertook one of the most ambitious projects of antiquity, crafting Zeus himself. The statue he created was staggering, 12 meters tall, nearly 40 feet. Imagine a 4-story building, but in the shape of a seated god. The technique Phidias used was called chryselephantine, a combination of ivory and gold. The ivory, carved into plates, was used for the flesh, the face, hands, and feet. Gold sheets were hammered and shaped to form the robe and ornaments, catching every glimmer of light. These were attached to a wooden framework, which supported the colossal structure. The throne alone was a masterpiece, decorated with carvings of mythological creatures, sphinxes, amazons, the graces and seasons, each symbol chosen to remind worshippers of divine power, justice, and beauty. Phidias didn't stop at materials. He mastered atmosphere. The temple floor may have contained a pool of olive oil, not water, which would stabilize the humidity so the ivory wouldn't crack, while also reflecting the statue's image in flickering light. Imagine stepping into that dark temple, the smell of olive oil heavy in the air, and seeing Zeus doubled, once in gleaming ivory and gold, once in shimmering reflection below. It must have felt like stepping into the very presence of the god. Ancient writers left us vivid accounts. The geographer Strabo noted that if Zeus were to rise from his throne, he would unroof the temple, an image that captures the statue's overwhelming size. Pausanias, writing in the 2nd century CE, described the details. Zeus crowned with olive, wearing golden sandals and a golden robe, holding a small statue of Nike in one hand and a scepter topped with an eagle in the other. His throne gleamed with ivory, ebony, and precious stones. Every detail, every ornament, was chosen to communicate Zeus's supreme power and the Greeks' devotion to him. And this wasn't just art. It was politics and religion intertwined. Olympia was a pan-Hellenic site, meaning all Greeks, no matter their city-state, could come together here. At a time when Athens and Sparta clashed, when wars divided the Greek world, Zeus at Olympia stood as a unifying symbol. This was Zeus the ruler, Zeus the judge, Zeus the protector of order. Worshippers came from across the Mediterranean to pay tribute, and the statue's fame spread far beyond Greece. Coins and gems carried its image, ensuring that even those who never visited Olympia knew what the god looked like. For nearly a millennium, this was the definitive image of Zeus. But great wonders attract great stories. One legend tells that the Roman Emperor Caligula, in his arrogance, ordered the statue taken to Rome. He even planned to replace Zeus's head with his own likeness. But according to ancient writers, the attempt failed. The scaffolding collapsed, or workers were struck by fear when the statue laughed, and the project was abandoned. Whether myth or truth, The story shows how untouchable this statue seemed. To the ancient world, it was not just wood, ivory, and gold. It was Zeus himself. For centuries, the statue stood. But time is merciless. Pagan worship was banned in the late 4th century CE, and the sanctuary of Olympia began to decline. The temple of Zeus was closed, its ceremonies ended, and the statue's future became uncertain. Some sources claim it was dismantled and transported to Constantinople, where it was placed in the Palace of Lausus. If so, it may have survived until 475 CE, when a devastating fire consumed the palace and many ancient treasures. Others argue it remained at Olympia, where earthquakes in 522 and 551 CE toppled the temple. If that was the case, Zeus may have been shattered and buried beneath fallen stone. Either way, by the 6th century, the wonder was gone. But history had not finished with it. In the 1950s, archaeologists uncovered the remains of Phidias's workshop beside the temple. Inside, they found terracotta molds used for shaping the statue's decorative details, tools for carving, ivory chips, and even thin glass plaques gilded to shimmer like golden fabric. These finds proved the descriptions of chryselephantine construction and gave us a glimpse of how the wonder was built. Among the discoveries was a humble cup with the words, "I belong to Phidias," scratched into it. Some scholars doubt its authenticity, but the possibility that it once belonged to the master himself is tantalizing. Today, if you walk among the ruins of Olympia, you'll see fallen Doric columns scattered like giant drums across the earth. The temple is gone, the statue lost, but the aura remains. In the site's museum, artifacts from Phidias's workshop are displayed, silent witnesses to the creation of a wonder. And though we cannot see Zeus as the ancients did, reconstructions and descriptions allow us to imagine the awe of standing before him, dwarfed by his size, dazzled by his brilliance. The statue of Zeus at Olympia is a reminder of human ambition and imagination. Built not only to honor a god but to inspire reverence, it stood for nearly 1,000 years, shaping how generations envisioned Zeus. Its destruction reminds us of the fragility of even the greatest achievements, but its memory endures as a testament to art, faith, and the desire to touch the divine. For the ancients, it was not just a statue, it was the presence of Zeus himself, captured in ivory and gold.